Well, I want to ask one final question. And I want to thank you so much for doing this. This was a little bit short notice, but it means a lot to us. And there's going to be some very hungry ears listening to it, ready for the sauce. What's next for you, Sean Jones? You said you're working on your 8th CD, and not just what's next for you on the calendar, but where do you see yourself? Where are you going to wind up?
Well, it's an interesting point in my career in that it could go a few different directions. I think now one of the things I want to do is just kind of almost start over, just go in a 100% different direction with my ensemble. So I'm actually working on a project that's a string quartet with an additional acoustic bass, and that being the bass ensemble that I tour for and write for. So getting rid of the traditional rhythm section altogether and working with this other acoustic chamber type of a situation to sort of see where it takes my playing. And just for the writing itself, I'm actually exploring key signatures and what those key signatures mean. Because I think that a lot of times we'll write a song not considering the key as a vehicle itself.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I find myself writing in keys that just don't feel good on the trumpet.
Right.
To force myself to really get to the rawest of emotion inside of that song.
Yeah, I actually know what you mean by that. All you have to do is take a song that really moves you and put it in a different key and see how that goes away all of a sudden.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
Isn't it
it's
trippy?
Amazing. Yeah,
Those keys are energies. And then like with the new position that I have with Berkeley, I'm actually working on developing a trumpet curriculum that's a little more modern, that encompasses what's pedagogically sound for the instrument while showing students how it applies to the music that they're playing today and incorporating technology with that. So that you're not just focusing on the past, and you're not just focusing on the future. You're saying how those things work right in time right now. And also I'm excited to be involved in SF performances and some things that we're talking about dealing with social consciousness right now. We're in an interesting time in the nation, and I actually spoke to Angela Davis a few days ago, and she was talking about the idea that in the 60s no one was trying to make history. You know, they weren't trying to be one way or the other because they knew it was going to be in a book at some point. They just simply wanted to express what was happening in the now and have change happen, real positive change. So I'm excited to discuss the Black Lives Matter movement. I'm excited to discuss the kneeling of, during the national anthem and the political environment that's happening right now. With SF performances, and seeing how we could take these things and turn them into sound, which will then be part of the historical narrative that people will look at 40 years from now.
And that's interesting because that is actually what jazz has been. And in fact, it is the music that is made for the times, out of the emotion and energy, and has historically been just that. Organic is the word, at least out here on the West Coast, I guess you would use to describe it. And I think that's really important, very exciting. I really look forward to hearing that. And it's been our great pleasure to have you here on KOSA Radio. This is Sean Jones. He is visiting us. And we are now going to go across the street, and he is going to smear the big band with swing juice, and we are going to improve in the next 2 hours. Sean, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And this is the Artist Spotlight. I'm Dave Ellis. Thank you, Desmond, for joining me. And you want to keep it locked here to KOSA Radio, where minds, words, music, and rhymes meet. Thanks again, Sean.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And we're out. That's a wrap.
You boys
Excellent.
are professional.